Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Caitlyn updated complete guide. So as usual for updated complete guides, don't forget to check out Caitlyn's basic guide that I'll put up in the cards above for her skills, leveling order, tips and tricks, as well as some combos. But without further ado, let's jump straight into the items. So first up, you'll see it's a pretty standard crit item build. We're going to start off with the Gluttonous Greaves for the AD and the Omnivamp. Then we go into what I think is normally the best ADC starting item, Bloodthirster, huge amount of AD and physical vamp, as well as additional stats when you're high on health. And the difference here from previous Caitlyn builds is we're going to go for IE earlier, because going for IE as a second item, of course, does give you the health reduction, but you get the extra AD and the extra crit damage, and at this point you're going to be at 50% crit rate, which basically means half of the time you're going to get that huge damage crit, which if you get lucky, you can, do huge amounts of damage. If you crit like 3 times in a row, huge amounts of damage. So kind of a little bit luck based, but I think it's probably worth it to roll the dice compared to going for Blaster as a second item. So third item, Blaster, you get attack speed, you get the bonus range from the passive, of course, and you get the static shift effect as well. Overall, this amazing item, and of course the Maul Reminder for the Armor Pen and the Grievous Wounds. Last item is generally defensive, so you could go for like a GA, you could go for a Maw, or like my favorite, the Sterix Gauge. I like going for Sterix Gauge for the health as well as the extra AD and the shield and such. You do lose like 5 movement speed, but I think that's one of the I think that is the most minor penalty out of all of the ruin items, in my opinion. But for the runes, seeing as we don't really have very much attack speed in the build, we want to get lethal tempo so we can attack quickly. Now I have tried press the attack, and I think press the attack is okay, but I think you don't really have enough attack speed to really sustain your press the attack. Like I think you need lethal tempo for the attack speed. Then we have brutal, of course, because we auto attack quite a bit. We have giant slayer, of course, really high value over here, and we have of course legend alacrity for even more attack speed. And here you can go for bone plating, or you can go for hex splash. And finally, for the spells, you can go for Ghost as well as Splash. You could go for Exhaust if there are multiple assassins, but in this case, Ghost is normally the better option because normally Caitlyn's not in exhaust range anyway unless assassins jump on top of you. But with all that said, let's move on to our gameplay. Okay, so now hopping into the gameplay, of course, as usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and of course, be sure to address them. So hopping straight into the gameplay first, let's first talk about what kind of support Caitlyn wants. Now Caitlyn is a little bit more unique than other ADCs in the sense that she doesn't really want like an engager or an enchanter, but she really wants someone who can help pressure with her in lane. So for engagers, this obviously helps a lot in the sense that they can all in, so Caitlyn can get free combos and get kills. But the problem with engagers is that that's what they're good at, but what they're bad at is, aside from engaging, they are just doing nothing except standing there, so they can't help you poke, they can't help you pressure. Whereas with enchanters, like for example Karma can land Qs and actually poke people down with you. So Karma is like, for example, good as well. So enchanters are good as well, but I would say that you don't really want like the Lulu, Yumi, Soraka kind of enchanter to buff you. You want those enchanters who can poke. So enchanters like Karma, and two of the best enchanters you can play with Caitlyn is Morgana as well as Lux. And the reason why that is because they have the best of both worlds. Morgana and Lux both have a root, which is going to allow Caitlyn to do her full combo, which allows you to trap, net, and then Q them, and then auto for the full damage combo afterwards. But they also have poke, so Lux has her E, Morgana has her W, and this allows them to put pressure in lane with you. So here, looking at what we're doing here, you can see that Morgana has been plopping those pools down onto the enemy team while I have been auto-attacking them whenever I can, and queuing through the minions to hit them, or even not through the minions to hit them when I can. So here you see I have my headshot. I'm headshotting the Janna, who does shield it pretty well. I actually miss my E there, but Morgana does end up surviving. Here you can see I'm just landing more poke onto Janna. A fight is happening at the river and everyone's making their way there. Here I'm actually just running down the Janna from behind because Ezreal has basically ditched his Janna, and Janna is like just getting run down by me basically. I flash forward, she flashes away, and I'm trying to reach her. She lives on 1 HP. Zoe actually finishes the kill, and here Ezreal's on top of me. Here I missed the blind Q, and we end up trading 1-for-1 in the end. Now I have to say that I did have my ward up and available here, but I guess you could say this is kind of an excuse, but I just rearranged my buttons not too long ago from when I played this match. So now I moved my recall from one side of my screen to another side. I moved my ward buttons, and I've moved like multiple stuff around on my controls. So I could not find my ward button, and I just end up walking into the wall awkwardly for like 1 second, as you guys saw there, before I decided to just try a blind Q, which kind of failed. So I guess you could say at least I traded 1-for-1, because it could have been worse where I just died and Morgana just got on the kill afterwards, and I didn't get the kill at all. So yeah, so thankfully when we come back to lane, the wave state is actually amazing because it's actually frozen outside our tower, which this basically makes it very hard for Ezreal, as well as the Janna to really do very much. We ward the bush there so we can see Janna tornadoes coming in like so. Honestly, getting hit by Janna tornado is not too big of a deal majority of the time anyways. Of course, you don't want to get hit by every single one. The main issue getting hit by it is Ezreal gets a free Q onto you if you're not behind minions, so that's kind of what we really want to avoid. And of course, Ezreal is now basically taking the approach to just stay far away and not allowing us to really land very much poke, which is quite wise by him, to be honest, because you can just farm with your Q and just run away. Here Janna though is playing very aggressive as she has been the entire game. I land a headshot onto her, and she's just walking up constantly to land tornadoes. Also, she has the new Calligraphia skin, which is really nice. I love the Calligraphia skin line. I'm not getting any of the skins though, because you know, the gacha is way too expensive. But yeah, we also have a Calligraphia Yasuo on my team, if I'm not mistaken. Here a nice root goes in onto the Janna, but I'm not in position to follow up with the combo, so unfortunately Janna is going to walk away relatively unscathed. And here I put a trap at the tip of the bush because I noticed this Janna loves to walk into that bush, and she's going to get caught on that trap if she decides to do that again. So in the meanwhile, we're just continuing to blast. So she actually walks in the bush from the side, which is really lucky for her, so she doesn't get caught by the trap. And yeah, it's a pretty tame laning phase. Like I'm just poking a little bit, Janna's poking a little bit, Ezreal is pretty much just farming, and Morgana's just landing some poke. But you can see here that despite the fact we're getting all this poking, we can never really finish a kill. Like for that to happen, we really need Morgana to get a catch and us to get a full combo to really finish a kill. And this is also one of the reasons why press the attack is not really that great on Caitlyn, because it's really very useful in lane, but you can't really get enough pressure to get a kill in lane, and you rarely have a situation where someone just lets themselves get run down by you in the lane, because most people know the threat of Caitlyn and her range, so they're not going to let you proc it, and they're not going to let you just run them down. Of course, in late game team fights, press the attack also has a lot of value, but I think lethal tempo just has more value. Like just getting that attack speed to increase your DPS by a ton is just more useful than getting that extra damage onto one person in the team fight, right? So that's just my opinion. I think lethal tempo is just better. I have played press the attack Caitlyn to test it out, of course, and I really didn't think it felt good. Like you just had too little attack speed, and it really just didn't feel good. So I'm not going for that. I'm going for the lethal tempo. Of course, instead of going for Bloodthirster, you also have the energized kind of build where you go for Stormrazor and Blaster. And I haven't actually tested that build out yet, although I do know from previous testing from previous patches that in general the Bloodthirster build is more better, and the Stormrazor build is a little bit better for snowballing and bursting down, but I haven't exactly tried that build in the current patch yet. I definitely will be trying it out and making a video on it though, so you guys can definitely look forward to that eventually. Also, on a slightly unrelated note, they finally actually fixed the Bell Academia Caitlyn skin, where if you guys didn't know, when you complete an item, your gun is supposed to evolve. In the previous patch, it didn't actually do that. But here you can see when I buy the item, you can see that my gun actually evolves, like just for a split second there, before we go into the home guard animation. But that is what is supposed to happen when Caitlyn buys her first 3 items. Her gun does have 3 evolutions, and of course it is a legendary skin, so that's kind of the main reason why. So whilst we are recalling, our team is able to actually pick up the dragon. And here we are going to pick up the ward, and Janna picks up our ward as well. And yeah, it's so far just really tame game. I'm just 1-1-1. The Zoe though is getting incredibly fed. She's 4-0 now. Here, Janna actually gets caught. I'm actually able to land the combo onto her for the most part, and she's actually at 1 HP now. So I'm actually trying to reach her. I ghost and flash, but for some reason my auto attack goes onto Ezreal. What is this auto targeting? But anyways, here we're now in a 1v1 auto attack battle with Ezreal, which Caitlyn obviously wins because Caitlyn obviously out DPSs Ezreal, who's more spell reliant. I'm not sure why the auto targeted Ezreal instead of Janna. Doesn't really make sense. Maybe Ezreal was out, Janna was out of my range or something like that. But yeah. This time we actually didn't have a ward, by the way, so this time we actually did have to flash into the bush, unlike the last time when we actually had a ward and didn't use it. But that is a really huge catch by Morgana. So this is kind of what I was talking about. This is why Morgana is so good with Caitlyn, because she has that huge root that basically when you're rooted allows Caitlyn to land the combo. And basically, if you guys notice what happened there, Janna got rooted by Morgana. I then put the trap on her, which rooted her again. She ulted me away, which prevented me from landing my E. I walked back up, landed my E, and then just started headshotting her to the point she's basically at 1 HP, and then we just ran her down and then killed Ezreal afterwards. Morgana even survived, so that's amazing. And of course, I haven't even mentioned the additional quote-unquote information that Morgana has a spell shield that blocks CC. So obviously, Morgana helping you block CC is always going to be helpful. Basically, there's CC in like every single match. There's rarely a match where the enemy team has no CC, and like in this match, you have the Janna tornadoes, you have the Gragas barrels, you know, things like that. You know, if Morgana can time her shield properly to help block those spells for you, you're going to be in a lot better shape. Of course, we could also say that Morgana hasn't been doing a very good job of that in lane when it comes to blocking all of those Janna tornadoes. It pretty much hasn't helped us block any. So I guess it also kind of depends on if Morgana uses the spell and if she can use it appropriately is also, of course, a factor in the Black Shield being good, right? Because if you don't use it or you don't use it properly, it's pretty much useless anyway. So here, we see Janna is off on the roam. So what we can really do with this is we can just shove the wave in and just go for tower damage, because Ezreal cannot 2v1 and he has horrible wave clear. So here we're just shoving the wave, no hesitation here, and we're just, you know, going for a tower. Ezreal wisely uses his ulti to try to clear the wave, but he isn't able to do so, and we are able to pick up the tower. Now the fight has basically moved from the mid lane to the bot lane. So you can see the enemy team is chasing my team into the bot lane, and the three of them are still there. Janna is dead, and Ezreal is pretty much following us from the top side of the map. So we do basically the same thing we did to him, which is now we're going to go for the mid lane tower instead of the top lane tower, and we get it. But the difference here is his team actually rotates. I'm going to have to flash away. Ezreal gets caught by the Morgana. Binding allows me to land a Q auto for the kill. You know, Morgana bindings essentially just let you land your combos for free, and we're able to get a quick kill there. Now here Vladimir actually gets caught, so I'm actually going to ult the Vladimir, and even though you didn't even see the ult go through, that actually gets me an extra assist. Because ulting someone and then dying while they're targeted by your ult actually gets you an assist, and your ult goes on a 5-second cooldown. So anytime you see a low HP target, you generally always want to ult them, even if your teammate is going to get the kill, because you still get a free assist. Of course, it's unless you already dealt damage and you don't need the assist, but in this case I didn't, so that actually gave me a free assist, you know, and just extra, you know, just extra goal overall. So the wave has started to stack up in top, so we're just going to quickly clear this wave, and then we can rotate to back to the mid lane, and you know, see what we can do from there. So we have our first 2 item completion. Of course, we got the IE completed here, and of course IE is a major power spike, which is gonna of course give us the additional AD, as well as of course that juicy additional crit damage when we crit. So next dragon is gonna come up relatively soon, and we're kind of positioning in a place where, you know, it is close enough. I don't know why Darius decides to back right now when he could have backed just now. He backs right now, right before the dragon actually spawns, which is a really bad recall timer. But he recalls anyway, and we're gonna have to stall for time to wait for him to come around. I mean, the enemy team is not starting dragon regardless, and Zoe's actually looking for a pick. But Darius is making his way there, and Yasuo is also making his way there. Now, I don't really know which side the enemy team is coming from, so I don't really know where to lay my traps. I see them coming from the right side, so I'm going to lay my traps on the right, but looks like they're just not going to come at all, so no real use in laying the traps eventually. So here, for some reason, a fight happens over the wall. Xinjiang, he flashes into 4 people, and pops his ult. He does die, gets shut down, and here I can't really hit anybody. I don't have flash to go over the wall, so I'm just going to ult. Ult gets blocked by Gragas, and Gragas actually kills the Darius, and here Yasuo goes in like pretty much 1v4, and me, Zoe, and Morgana are trying our best to reach there. We pop the ghost. I'm trying to focus whoever is low. Ezreal's really low, and Janna's really low as well. I managed to clip the Ezreal and kill. Janna's actually not that low, but we managed to kill the Ezreal here. Gragas comes in with the combo, and we end up trading 1-for-1 because he is really fed. 3 full items, 4, 1, and 5. He is able to pretty much just one-shot me 100-0. But the good news is we did get his shutdown in trade, so we do get a lot of gold, extra gold from that as well. So in the meanwhile, Zoe is 8-0. So Zoe looks like, you know, she's really carrying the game at the moment, but somehow, despite her being 8-0 and me being 6-2, we actually have almost the same goal. I'm only 300 gold behind her, and Definitely in a team fight, Caitlyn will out DPS a Zoe, whereas Zoe is a lot more better in terms of finding catches and just finding picks in general. Zoe is way better than Caitlyn in that sense. So we kind of both have our own strengths, and it's always a good situation when you have a mid laner who's fed and you have an ADC who's fed. It's two huge threats to the enemy team. It's always a good thing. So huge mid wave here. I'm just gonna quickly grab this mid wave, and then onto the red buff share over here. Really close to getting the blaster. Actually, I believe I got enough for the blaster right there. Off of that huge mid wave, and I'm just grabbing the blaster right here. There we go. So in the meanwhile, a fight has broken out without me. So I'm actually pinging my team back. I'm pinging the don't fight, wait for the group ping here. And actually my team does disengage and we don't actually get into a huge fight here. So now I'm going to rotate over to my team and see if I can help them out. Looks like a fight is going to break out here sooner or later. I ward over to the blue buff area to spot enemies if they're coming. And Zoe is trying to find a catch, as she should be. I'm just maintaining my distance and seeing what I can do now. We are getting slowed down by Janna, Tornado, and Glacial. So here I'm trying to trap at the choke point, but ends up the fight happens on the other side. And here are two quick picks onto the Xin Zhao as well as the Vladimir. The rest of the enemy team is of course running away because they've already lost 2 members and no one on my team is really that low. This gives us a Baron angle where we can obviously just go for the Baron. So here of course, whenever you do objectives, you're going to set up the trap line. So here I'm setting up the trap line at the choke point where the enemy team is going to walk in. And of course, we have the area warded up. But turns out the enemy team comes in from the other side. So that ward didn't actually end up making that much sense. But here, Janna actually steals the Baron with the Tornado. And Gragas gets a triple kill, which I don't know what to say about that. Now, I know Gragas and Janna are really low, so I'm just chasing. I know they're over this wall. I flash over, kill the Gragas in one shot, and then I'm going to kill the Janna as well. So we do trade back 2 kills, but we lost the Baron to a Janna Tornado, which is something I never thought would happen. Like, how does Janna Tornado steal Baron? And as you can expect, Darius is getting spam pinged at the moment, but the issue is his smite cooldown was actually 2 seconds, so he actually didn't have smite at all, during the Baron. So yeah, somebody had to secure it, and no one did except the Janna, of course. So they do get the Baron still, which is completely absurd, given the circumstances. So now with the Baron, the enemy team is actually full on just shoving, and here we spot the pick onto Xin Zhao. Darius gets the pick onto him, and yeah, so Zoe also dies, and obviously Zoe is super pissed about that. And just basically starts flaming the Darius, who is partially his fault, but at the same time, he doesn't have smite, so what do you really want him to do? Except maybe ping earlier that he doesn't have smite, so the whole team is kind of aware. I mean, I was aware he didn't have smite, personally, but there's not a lot I could really do to secure the Baron either, and it was just a real case of unluckiness in my opinion. So now the dragon is up, and this is going to be Dragon Soul for my team, Ice Dragon Soul. So we're going to make our way to the dragon where Infernal Dragon has just spawned. And here I'm getting some free hits onto the Vladimir, setting up the trap line of course, and Gragas steals the dragon with his ultimate. So as you can expect, the whole team is kind of raging at Darius at the moment because he just lost 2 objectives in a row. This time he did have smite, but he just didn't use it. But Vladimir for some reason is completely trolling. He is completely overextended when he knows our whole team is there, and he just dies. Doesn't even get the tower. Ezreal 1 auto attack, 2 auto attack, 3 auto attacks, he's dead. Yeah, Caitlyn kills him in like 3 auto attacks at this point because I'm so fed. 5k gold up on the Ezreal, and yeah. So despite the fact that enemy team got Baron, we are they can't really use it because we are kind of destroying them, so it's not really that useful in the grand scheme of things, but we lost out on Baron to use for our own push. And we also, of course, lost out on Dragon Soul. So really, the only issue on the enemy team is the Gragas, who can definitely easily one-shot me. He's just as fat as me, in fact, and he has 4 full items. The moment he touches me, I'm going to evaporate, so I really just need to watch out for him. Like, Xin Zhao doesn't have lethality, so he doesn't really kill me. Vladimir is still scaling, and he's kind of behind, so he's not going to kill me. Ezreal and Janna also really not going to kill me, so I really just need to watch out for that Gragas. And the moment he focuses someone else or uses spells on someone else, basically it's the time where I should be able to just go in and do whatever I want, because no one else should really be able to kill me that easily, of course, unless like the whole team focuses me or something like that. So I've already gotten my 100% crit, in this game. I'm going to actually pick up the Stasis to try to prevent the Gragas from one-shotting me. And of course, in this match, since as I said, Gragas is my main threat, I'm actually going to go for the Maw of Mordius, of course, to counter the Gragas. Of course, it also works well against Vladimir and to some extent Ezreal as well. And even to some extent Janna, for that matter. So definitely Maw, it's going to be a Maw this game. And here again, a fight looks like it's about to break out, and I really don't want fights to break out without me because, as I said, even though Zoe is so fed, she really only is relatively single target unless the whole enemy team stands together. So you really kind of need the DPS from the ADC to really, win those fights. So here, Zoe aggressively flashes in, gets her crown popped. Morgana shields her, so she is immune. Not immune, immune to the displacement from Gragas' ulti, but crucially here, Gragas used ulti, so now I know Gragas doesn't have ulti, and I'm, just a little bit safer, but Darius just full-on commits just now, and actually just dies right before the Elder Dragon, which again, this Darius is a little bit tilting, loses the Baron, loses the Dragon Soul, and dies right before Elder Dragon spawns, so we have to delay like 38 seconds or so for him to actually revive, and we're just kind of waiting around the area to try to I'm just going to say try to ensure that any team doesn't do it, but you can't really ensure that any team doesn't do it because they are going to do it. We can only just try to contest them 4 versus 5. So here you can see I'm not focusing the dragon, I'm focusing the enemy champions because we don't want to lower the dragon health. Gragas ults again, I'm going to have to quickly flash away. Xin Zhao, the enemy jungler, actually dies, so now the dragon becomes a flip, flashing away from the Vladimir, and here he nearly dies. I mistimed the Q a little bit, so he flashes away. Ezreal just comes over, which actually gives me ability to lifesteal off him. We finish off the Gragas who's 1 HP, who's leashing the Elder Dragon for some reason, and we now actually get the Elder Dragon for free. So huge teamfight win there. Actually kill all of them. Now there is actually an angle to end the game here, like we could maybe just push down mid and end, which is what you can see me hovering that to actually do that, but we actually decide to go for the quote-unquote safer route of getting Baron. I say it's safer because in the grand scheme of things, if you have Baron and Elder, the game should be 100% won anyway, whereas if you don't get Baron and you just push, and you end up not ending the game, or worse, you end up not ending the game and dying to the enemy team, then enemy team gets Baron and you're now in a sticky situation. So seeing what's happening now is, of course, Morgana is going to be able to get the tower by herself. If the whole team was there, we could have tried to end. Of course, we would have gotten the tower even faster than what she already did. But, as I said, I think the safer play is to just go for the double buffs. And here I'm trying to farm up to get enough for Hex Drinker. I'm really, really close to Hex Drinker. And I want to ideally just recall, get Hex Drinker, and, basically get full build. So here I have enough for Hex Drinker. I'm recalling and wasting a little bit of the Baron and Elder time, to be very honest, but I think getting Hex Drinker here is really important to prevent myself from getting one shot from the full build Gragas now. So here my whole team is actually pushing mid, but there's no real point of this unless we win a team fight and end the game. If not, we should be pushing the other lanes where there are inhibs. Looks like it is kind of working out though. Yasuo does end up dying, unfortunately. Here I can see I'm pinging to attack to get the wave so that we can push in. With that. So Zoe's actually doing the correct thing by getting the other wave. Vladimir tries to go in for some reason, Gragas actually tries to go in on me, but I managed to actually evade it using my net and I survive. So here now, I'm trying to finish up Ezreal. He survives because he got to the fountain. Xin Zhao is now, on death's door. He goes down. We finish off the tower and the game is basically won at this point. Now you see my Hex Drinker shield is so big, I can't even see my health bar properly. So here I finish off Janna. I'm trying to focus Ezreal for a free kill, but because of the Hex Drinker, out of the Maw, shield, and Morgana shield, I actually couldn't see my health bar properly. I thought I had more health than I had. I actually ended up dying to the Nexus when I had Stasis. It's a little bit awkward, but we still get the dub anyway. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.